Thank you for joining us on this Friday, October 11th, live from the Beasley Media Complex in Boone. This is the Appalachian Weekly News. I'm Anna Muckenfuss.
And I'm Katie Garceran.
38% of college students don't know how to ask for help if they are a victim of dating abuse. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, more than 50% of college students say it is difficult to identify dating abuse. October is Domestic Violence and Interpersonal Violence Awareness Month. To raise awareness, the Women's Center and the App State chapter of UNICEF worked together to organize a silent march. Kat Ward is a volunteer with the Women's Center. She says the goal of the march is to raise awareness of how domestic violence affects the community in the High Country.
We have a lot of speakers and individuals who are sharing their own stories, so I think tonight's event will make people realize that this problem affects people they know and people in their community, and is much more than a big abstract concept, but is something that's real in our community.
If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or contact Oasis at 828-262-5035.
A new series seeks to engage community members and students in new research. The Sustainable Development Department created a 4-part series called Lunch and Learn. Every event features a student's or professor's research within the sustainable development field. Patrick Ross is a senior sustainable development major. He spoke at the Lunch and Learn event on August 28th about his field research in Madagascar. He says most of his research was done using trail cameras to study wildlife. He says he hopes the takeaway from his presentation is to take opportunities that match passions. Anissa Bro is the assistant professor of the Sustainable Development Department. She says the event is a great way for faculty, students, and the community to engage with issues that the department studies, like climate change. Bro says it is also helps people in the department because they can look at their research from different perspectives. The remaining event in the series will take place later in the fall semester on November 9th.
All over the world, Special Olympics works to provide athletic opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities and foster inclusion. A corporal at the Boone Police Department has a creative idea for raising money for Special Olympics North Carolina. Our correspondent John Park has the story.
I'm an officer, but I coach professionally. Don't coach law enforcement. Yeah, no, I got you. You have a great day, sir.
Last week on Friday and Saturday, you may have seen a unique sight at Chick-fil-A on Blowing Rock Road. A number of athletes, Boone police officers, and even cows were out in force to raise money for Special Olympics North Carolina as part of the Cops on Top event. Cops on Top was a special event in which police officers not only raised money, but also camped out on the rooftop of Chick-fil-A overnight to raise awareness for the cause. One officer said that he enjoyed camping out and had a good time sleeping on the roof. It was back to work early the next morning for Corporal Jake Harkey, who organized Cops on Top in partnership with Boone Chick-fil-A as a means to raise money for Special Olympics North Carolina.
So we started out here yesterday. We were out here. We got here early in the morning, raised funds all through the drive-through, and we camped overnight on top of the roof. Me and a couple of officers camped out up there. But we're in the drive-through, asking people for donations. If athletes are here, they're asking for donations, holding buckets, and just trying to raise awareness for Special Olympics and raise some money.
In all, Cops on Top raised over $4,000 over its 2-day effort. To find out more information about Special Olympics, visit sonc.net. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm John Park.
2 nonprofits are working to put sidewalks on populated Boone streets. Harmony Lanes and App Healthcare recently assessed pedestrian and cycle safety near roads that are in need of improvements. The assessment focuses on health benefits, but also sustainability in the hope that more sidewalks will encourage more students to walk around town. Mackenzie Hellman is the Health Promotion Manager at App Healthcare. She says pedestrian and cycle safety is a public health issue.
1 student and 1 faculty member work together to improve App State's resources for people with disabilities. Rebecca Long is an App State graduate student and president of the Autistic Students and Allies of the High Country. Long collaborated with Albert Stabler, the assistant professor for art education, to make Abel Action. Long says Abel Action is a project raising awareness around, quote, the barriers to full participation experienced on the App State campus by disabled people, end quote. She says Abel Action also represents those who don't identify as someone with disabilities, but still requires university accommodations.
I realized that I was having sort of experiences with disability services and faculty and staff and all sorts of issues on campus, not feeling like we had the proper supports in place. And then I would start hearing stories from other students who are experiencing the same thing.
Long wanted to draft an idea for a grand proposal for a disability center, but realized she needed some documentation first. Long and Stabler drafted a survey that's on their Abel Action posters. The survey provides space for people to share their experiences with things like accommodation, support, navigating campus, and adjusting to university life. Stabler says the team wants to use the survey to create artistic responses and postering campaigns. They hope the next step in the project is creating a collective, safe space for students and faculty with disabilities.
We're hoping to do something creative with the stories we gather that's going to have some sort of substantial impact on perception of disabled folks on campus, and what kind of support folks rely on for just to exist on campus and succeed in school.
The first meeting discussing the continuation of the Abel Action project is on October 21st in room 202 in Way Hall at 7.
If you are looking to de-stress after midterms, the Turchin Center is offering a space for creating visual journals. Visual journals are part scrapbook, diary, photo album, and doodling pad. Visual journaling is held in a group setting to allow participants to share ideas and creative techniques. Martha McCahey facilitates the weekly open studio for visual journaling.
Well, visual journaling is a practice open to anybody, and that's one of the things that's really neat about it. You don't have to be an artist, you don't have to have any formal art training. It's not about any art skills. It's about using creative techniques for expressing yourself, processing ideas, feelings, and thoughts. It's sort of like part sketchbook, part diary, part photo album, part to-do list. And it really can be anything you want. There's no rules for a visual journal. It's a place where you get to hang out with your imagination.
Visual journaling is held in the Turchin Center every Tuesday at 6:30.
The Black Arts Showcase provides a supportive community for students to express themselves. Our correspondent, Christine Dudley, has the story.
The Black Arts Showcase, hosted by the Black Student Association, gives students a platform to showcase their talents. The Harlem Renaissance inspired this year's event, featuring 8 acts from gospel choir to gospel rap, as well as poetry and visual art. Jerisha Ferrer is the Multicultural Student Development Assistant Director. She says this event is important for App State's campus.
This event is, I want to say, a signature program and important on this campus is because it lets individuals outside of Black and brown students to know what our experiences are.
Colby Lofton is the marketing chair for the Black Student Association. She says students of color feel this event supports them.
It gives students a way to express themselves in front of a community that supports them, a community that they're comfortable presenting around.
Ferrer says she hopes this event will be bigger in the future and include more artists from off campus. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Christine Dudley.
A local bookstore teams up with the Children's Playhouse to create story time for kids and a community for families. Every month, the Foggy Pine Bookstore hosts a story time for kids at the Children's Playhouse. Mary Ruthless is the owner of Foggy Pine. She reads to the children, then makes a craft with them. She says the children enjoy coloring and making anything wearable or edible. Kara Flowers is the program's director. She approached Ruthless with the idea for Playhouse Storytime. She says events like Storytime helps kids and parents find community with other families. The Playhouse provides parents with toys and educational games they might not have access to. With kids busy at play, parents can socialize with one another. The Playhouse also hosts other local visitors with programs like music lessons and mad science labs. You can find the Children's Playhouse bursting with color at 400 Tracy Circle.
Now it's time to check in on sports with Connor Davidson. Connor, we've had an amazing season so far. What can we expect to see out of the Mountaineers next?
Thanks, Anna. Lots of good things ahead, especially for App State football, who's on a roll after its big 17-7 win against Louisiana on Wednesday. This game was low scoring relative to what we've seen from the Mountaineers this season, but the defense definitely came up big. Coming into the game, Louisiana was one of the best offensive teams in the country, and they were held to just 7 points. With another win, App State has a good chance to crack the top 25. The past couple of weeks, they've been sitting just outside of the top 25 and are currently at 28th. The App State men's soccer team is continuing its success this season. On Sunday, they defeated Central Arkansas 1-0 behind Camden Holbrook's goal. Goalkeeper Jacob Madden had 4 saves to secure the shutout. That win puts them at 8-2-1 on the season. Their next game is tomorrow night against Howard at 7 p.m. here in Boone. Basketball season is right around the corner, and there's a lot to be excited for both the men's and women's teams. The men's team has a new head coach, Dustin Kearns. Last season, he led Presbyterian College to 20 wins and was its first year with more than 15 wins. The team has big goals for this season, including winning the Sun Belt Championship. This will certainly be an interesting team to watch. The women's team has a bit of a different narrative. They're coming off a successful season, having won the WBI Championship last year. They have 4 out of their 5 starters returning this season and have even bigger goals this year. They're now eyeing the Sun Belt Conference Championship, but that won't come easy. There's much to be excited about for App State basketball, so be on the lookout for these teams this year. I'm Connor Davidson. That's all for sports this week. Back to you, Katie and Anna. I hope you all have a great fall break.
You too, Connor. I hope you do too. And now it's time for your High Country High Note. We all know the heartwarming childhood story of Peter Pan going to Neverland, but a recent showing of Peter and the Starcatcher shows the classic fairy tale with some modern twists. The audience engaged with the lighthearted plot as the characters went on their incredible adventure. Modern references to people like Michael Jackson and Donald Trump made the story feel more personal and relatable to the audience. The cast even acted as animals or doorways, adding to the imaginative and humorous mood of the production. The play helped the audience remember what it feels like to be young and relive timeless memories with amazing characters. Teresa Lee is the director of Appalachian People's Theater and director of the play. Peter and the Starcatcher premiered on Wednesday, October 2nd at the Valborg Theater. That's our report this week. I'm Katie Garceran.
And I'm Anna Muckenfuss. For all of us at the Appalachian Weekly News, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.